Hey everybody, this is Perch. I don't know if you're reading the Eight Deaths of Spider-Man. It just began, so by the way, I have no idea when this video started. For all I know, for all I know, we're past the Eight Deaths of Spider-Man, and we're into the Nine Orgasms of Paul. I don't know what they're gonna do next. But this comic, and hey, I'll be happy to come back on in like 3 years when the next video airs. Honestly, I am trying to wind down this channel. Somebody made a comment. This is a recurring joke that I've talked about how series need to know when to end, and this channel, right? I've been saying this channel is going to end. The videos just keep coming. I don't know. One day, right? Anyway, this Eight Deaths of Spider-Man comic. The challenge with it is it fails at one key premise, which is it needs you to believe that Spider-Man is going to die or is capable of dying, or that's even on the table. And the challenge with it, you need to be able to build the tension. And by the way, I mean, in general with comic characters, and this is a question to all of you. I guess I should say this up front. Comics exist on a model of believing that the kind of prime character, the person you're reading, is actually in mortal danger. And if you believe that they're in mortal danger, then the comic has tension, and then but at the same time, as much as you believe they're in mortal danger, it's the comic Superman or Batman or Spider-Man, and they're not really going to die. When I was certainly, my comic shop was open, I made a crap load of money during this moment. But the death of Superman, we got the black polybagged issue and everything, and a bunch of you could immediately tell who was a comic fan and a comic reader, and who was not, because the comic fans are like, I wonder how he's going to come back, and the normies, or the people who weren't comic readers, are like, I can't believe they killed Superman. And it was like you could like just separate the two groups just right away from that. So with this Eight Deaths of Spider-Man storyline, basically the premise is that for whatever reason, Doctor Doom's in charge of shit, and you know, sorry, even just recounting the storyline, take you know, um, so Doctor Doom's basically come and he's outsourced the job of protecting the Earth from some supernatural bullshit to Spider-Man, and he can die a few times. I mean, anyway, it's this contrived storyline that basically says that Spider-Man's got to go through this gauntlet of crazy magic shit where he's going to die and be resurrected, but he's got 8 lives, and so the entire storyline is, and I haven't, obviously it may go in a different direction. So this comic may sound dumb as shit if it does. But basically, the idea that I believe it's going in is that we're going to get to the 7 deaths of Spider-Man, and it's like, fuck, you only have one left, and then you're dead forever. And it's like, I can't die forever. And then we're going to get some crazy heroics and Spider-Man pulling it out of the end, and then he's going to go on to, mope around and, date. Well, who's he dating now? Shay? Is that it? Shay? Peter and Shay. I don't know. Is anybody invested, by the way, in Peter Parker dating Shay, the lawyer? Here's the weird part. I promise you, I am reading these comics, and yet, if you put a gun to my head and said, "Who is this character that Peter is dating, and what's her deal?" I'd be like, I would be hoping that I'd get it right. I'd be like, it's Shay, and she's a lawyer, like a defense attorney for villains. Did I get it right? I mean, Christ, I'm saying this in a YouTube video in a channel with over 50,000 subs, and I don't know. You tell me. I should know. I feel like that's a problem, right? And you could argue the problem is me, that I'm an idiot. Always, I mean, sure. I mean, that's a given, but I feel like I should know that. Like, I feel like these comics should make sure I know that. Right? I mean, Somehow, I knew Lanya is the little sister of Piotr, the Colossus. I'm saying these names all crazy. Um, Piotr, Vladid Putin. Well, no, sorry, idiot. Never mind. Any, anyway, uh, I I feel like I should know. Anyway, does anyone care about this relationship? Does it like what are we even doing here? Like, does anybody believe that Peter Parker and Shay are gonna get married someday? Like, why are we even doing this? I really do think that readers like. Here's the thing. I'm sorry. I need to get back to the original topic, but um, for new readers, do you care about Peter and Shay? Like, you're watching the movies and it's Peter and MJ, and if you watch the cartoons, it's Peter and MJ, and then you open up the comics and it's Peter and Shay, the I hope defense attorney, lawyer, whatever. And does she have I mean, every comic I've read, it feels like for a while it's been the two of them in a restaurant. I don't. Does she work? I don't know. Maybe I've got this all wrong, and she works in a restaurant. That would make a hell of a lot of sense to the comics I'm reading. Anyway, all right. Let me stop with that right now. I've spent way too much time. Yeah, do you realize how screwed up the Peter Parker universe is right now? We got Shay and Paul, and like, what is even going on right now? God damn it, Spider-Man. Anyway, the point I want to make is comics are in this unique position where they have to get you to believe, as a fan, as a reader, that the character is in mortal danger. And yet, as a fan and a reader, if you have any kind of longevity with the title at all, if you've been reading comics for more than 2 months, they're not going to kill off any of these characters, like any of them. What was legitimately, and somebody help me in the comments, what was the last major character who died and stayed dead? What was the last minor character that died and stayed dead? What was the last any character that is still dead? I mean, Uncle Ben is still dead, but he has been brought back to life in the Spider-Verse. Who else is still dead? Like, I'm honestly trying to, like, I guess Peter and MJ's unborn baby from One More Day is still dead. Their daughter that never was is still dead, proving that the Spider-Man editors are all in on abortion. Pro-choice, my friends. Anyway, I think that this is a interesting challenge for comics, in that they've got to present that these characters who can never die are actually in danger. And I think the quality of a story, I think you have a choice. Either you've got to get the readers to suspend their disbelief that these characters might actually be in some mortal peril, or you need to tell a fun story where the character is not going to die, but there's still some tension and some stakes. So, for example, if we're going to go way back in time, Captain America, the Bloodstone Hunt. Captain America is trying to find the Bloodstone. He's battling Zemo and a bunch of other assholes. And that's how they should write the solicit, by the way. Captain America battles a bunch of assholes. That's. I mean, it couldn't be more lazy than it is now. Anyway, I think at no point during that series did you believe or even were promised that Captain America might die, and yet the story was still fun. It was still, filled with tension, and there was still a lot of stakes to it, but there was not the stakes that Captain America, the main character, might die. Today, I think modern comics suffer from needing, they need to tell that story where they basically present that, is this the last, like Al Ewing's doing this in the current Thor series, where you're seeing these solicits, and they've done it a few times now, where it's like the final story of Thor. Well, but it's not the final story of Thor. This is horseshit. It is not. Even if you decide to sell some future version of Old Man Thor finally dying in the distant future, some other writer's going to come along and write a different version of that. Like, there's no we've seen all the major characters in the Marvel and DC universe die and come back to life. All of them. If you actually think about it, it's pretty amazing. Who has not died and come back to life? You might go, oh yeah, it's most of them. No, it's all of them. Captain America has died, come back to life. Wolverine died, come back to life. Spider-Man died and come back to life. He has. Batman, Superman, Hal Jordan, Barry Allen, Wonder Woman, all of them died, come back to life. They all have. So there is no dead. There is no, final stakes here. Thus, it really raises the issue of how does a comic company, how does a publisher actually tell a story where there's tension and stakes, but the character is never really in any danger of dying? I think it's a very hard needle to thread. But the biggest thing that comic companies should stop doing is stop pretending that death is on the table. I think that's mistake number one. Unless you're really going to provide a truly masterful story with a twist to it, I think saying that, is this, go back to the 8 deaths of Spider-Man. Is there anyone listening to this channel now? Raise your hand, identify yourself in the comments. Is there anyone that believes that at the end of this, Peter Parker is going to be dead? Anyone? Like, even those of you who are all in on the anti-SJW, woke is bad, and you believe that, social engineering is going for Marvel, okay? Several of you, I know, come in on that point of view. I've heard people say that, I've heard people say, I'll bet Marvel kills off Peter Parker in the future so they can have the Black Miles Morales be the true Spider-Man, and then people will stop bitching about Peter Parker and they won't argue who's the true Spider-Man. First of all, that is stupid. Like as much as people like to bicker about stuff on Twitter, nobody at the corporate level is like, you know what, I'm going to solve this, who the true Spider-Man is once and for all. Nobody is doing that. Nobody. A couple of you right now are like, I'll bet. No, stop it. Just stop it. You sound crazy. Stop. No. Do any of you believe that Peter Parker is actually going to get murdered so they can have Miles Morales be the true Spider-Man in order for woke? Even the most diehard of those, please be brave. Raise your hand. Do any of you believe the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man ends with the white Spider-Man dying so the black Spider-Man could be the main Spider-Man? None of you. Come on, search your heart. Nobody believes this is true. So therefore, if you're going to do a storyline of the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, I think you're up against a wall. It's a really hard thing to do, and then actually create a compelling story. And I actually think it's to your detriment. If they called this thing the 8 Trials of Spider-Man and they didn't lead with this, I actually think it would be more accepted. But you can't put death on the table for a main character where you know damn well the main character is not going to die. Once upon a time, before you ran this trick 8,000 times, you probably, you might have believed that, maybe. I mean, or rather, I know they're not going to kill him, but let's see how they get out of this. The problem is we've seen how they got out of this like a million times by now. We don't need to, we're aware. It's usually bullshit. I like the Ed Brubaker run of Captain America, but that Captain America dies, that rebirth where he went through time and then came back and the Red Skull's involved, that wasn't good. Can I just say that? I know we're supposed to all love that run. And by and large, I do love the majority of that run, but that Captain America Resurrection was a bunch of bullshit. That wasn't good. Anyway, all right, I've rambled enough here. What do you think? Can comic companies actually sell the idea that somebody's going to die and really be dead? Is it possible? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Blah 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 blah. Channel will end someday. Thanks for listening, Parakeet.